Welcome to another Telltale Books video. I'm Greg, and this time I'm continuing my Greg Bear exploration, trying to read everything I can get my hands on by Greg Bear in order of publication. And this will be his fifth published story, titled A Martian Ricorso. And this was published in Analog, Science Fiction, Science Fact, in February of 1976. So this is getting close to when I got into science fiction for the first time. And it's only a short story. And I do have it. I have it in more than one place. It's in Greg Bear's collection called Tangents, which I do have a copy of. It was published back in 1989, so you would probably have to either find that used or as an ebook, or maybe Half Price Books will have it. And that's finding it used. It's also in the Collected Stories of Greg Bear, which again is not currently in print. That was published in 2002 by Tor, but pretty easy to find used copies online. And the original publication in Analog, I have that with me. I didn't dig the other two out, even though I have them. I have this issue of Analog with an absolutely amazing Rick Sternbach cover illustration. This has always blown me away. I first saw this illustration in an article in Future Life magazine. They did an interview with Rick Sternbach and showed a number of his works, and they always had a fold-out poster in every issue. I love that magazine. I wish somebody would bring that concept back. I saw this painting. This was the lead illustration to that article. Nice full page, no text over it, and just fell in love with it. It was a huge influence over me when I was a teenager thinking about becoming an artist. Very realistically done, a beautiful style, a lot of imagination, richly realizing Greg Bear's Mars here. So absolutely love that illustration. And Rick Sternbach, of course, he started in early 70s for sure, maybe late 60s. I think his first most famous illustration was for Ringworld. The first edition of Ringworld has a Rick Sternbach illustration. And he was very active in the magazines in the 1970s, but he got involved, I believe, with Star Trek The Motion Picture, doing concept art. And he went on from there to get involved in The Next Generation. And for a long time, he was just on the payroll with all the different Star Trek properties, mostly imagining spaceships. And I remember I used to have a book of his where he did like the history of Starfleet spaceships all the way up to and just beyond The Next Generation. That was a really cool book. So he's still alive. He became most famous, though, I think, for his work on Star Trek. But I love his illustrations, like this one for Analog. And I'm going to take a nice photo and put it next to me on the screen so you can see it a little better. Beautiful, beautiful work. Love it. I think he's a great illustrator, great artist. So, Greg Bear's Martian Ricorso. Because of that illustration, I've always wanted to read this story, but never really got a hold of it until more recently. And so I'm finally reading it for the first time here. Never read this before. And it's a fascinating story. Basic synopsis. You have an expedition from Earth to Mars, and they land and they find that there really was life on Mars. It's just been dormant under the soil. and it seems to have a type of intelligence, but it's very alien to us. It's a very different kind of society, a very different kind of intelligence, but they do have a society, they do have buildings, they do have different roles for different members of the society. And one group of these members apparently has the role of destroying anything that gets in its way. And so the Earth ship is attacked by the Martians, and their ship is damaged. And the guy that's surviving, he's trying to, the surviving guys repair their ship and they try to get away before these creatures can come back and totally dismantle their ship. That they want to get back up into orbit and connect with an orbital ship that they came from Earth on, and they just have a lander on Mars. And just it's just a short story, so there's not a lot to it. That's basically the whole thing. But the description of the world here, the world building of this Mars, it's beautiful and fascinating, imaginative, and this was at a time when we were sending robot probes to Mars, taking pictures. The Mariner taking pictures on the surface of Mars, and what Bear's doing here is trying to tie our past ideas about Mars together with what was current knowledge in 1976 and trying to find a possible way for a whole Martian civilization to still be there. And I think he does that very well in this story. It's a really fascinating story, very imaginative, well done. Short story, so no, you're not going to get a ton of characterization, but you just get this cool world building. It's a brilliant idea. I'm not going to give this one top tail status. I don't think it quite rises up to that. I'm trying to be conservative with top tails lately. But I do recommend this story. It's a very good story. If you like Greg Bear, if you're interested in Mars, especially older visions of Mars, then this is a story for you. Have you read A Martian Ricorso? Leave your comments in the comments section. And come on back for the next in my Greg Bear series. Number 6 will be Sun Planet, which is a novella published in Galaxy magazine. And until then, please like the video, subscribe to our channel if you're not already a subscriber, and keep coming back for lots more Greg Bear. I've got a lot of Stephen King with his new collection that I'm doing videos of, and lots of other stuff. Emily's going to be joining me for some things. And come on back and see it all.